In this lesson, we'll work on aligning the source data to our control rig. The scene is 04 begin in your project files. So here we have Animation Man, and the rig that I'm using here has actually been generated from Cinema 4D's character object. You can find that underneath the character menu. Here it is. I'd highly recommend you have a look at this auto rigging tool because it can help you save a lot of time, and it actually produces a rig that animators, I think, would really enjoy. I mean, I enjoyed working with it, certainly, and I think you might as well. It gives you a lot of control, the type of control you would see on a custom rig. So this is what we will be working with. And by the way, if you'd like to learn more about the character object, how it can be used as a way of helping you save time in your rigging process, feel free to have a look at creating fast rigs with the character object in Cinema 4D. And then there's also a feature that allows you to integrate a custom rig into the system. How exciting is that? So you can learn more about that feature and reusing custom rigs with the character component. All right, but with that said, let's say we go ahead and bring over our data and get started with the alignment process. This is so that the proportions of our source data will match with the proportions of our character here, just to make it a lot easier for us to retarget the animation. So if we were to go ahead and jump over to our last file, which is 03end, I'll go ahead and jump to that scene. I'll actually copy the top node here, SRC kick skeleton. Let's go ahead and highlight that and press Control C. And now we can jump back to our file, 04 begin, and I'll simply go ahead and paste the file in. All right, sweet. So you can see the proportions are a little off, but no worries. We'll be able to fix this in no time. Now, how's that possible? Well, what's great is that since we need to create an offset in our keyframes to match the proportions here, we can work with Cinema 4D's animation layering system, known as the motion system. We find that by going to Tags in the Objects Manager. Let me go ahead and tear this off so you can see it. New tag, Cinema 4D tags, and then we'll go ahead and move down to the motion system. All right, sweet. So we'll be able to use that to basically create the animation layers we need to offset our joints to match our character's proportions. All right, sweet. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and close out of this menu for now. And to make this a little easier on us, watch this. We can go to the character node, our character object. We can go down to display. And then if we scroll over, you'll notice we have this visible dropdown. Let's switch this from controllers to components. Now we can see the skeleton. The great thing about this is we can now align our motion capture to our character skeleton by using our snapping tool. How cool. So that'll save us a lot of time. So let's say we go to filter and hide polygons. So it's a lot easier to snap. Great. And then from there, we can basically go ahead and get to work. I'll grab the skeleton node. Let's go ahead and grab this null, and we'll middle click. And that's going to highlight all of our joints. We know that already. Now let's go ahead and deselect the top node, which is this null. We'll hold down Control and click. And the great thing about this is if I were to expand the skeleton, you'll notice that we have everything highlighted except for this top node. All right, fantastic. So with all of these joints selected, we can now move back to our tags list. We'll go ahead and search for the motion system tag, and we'll go ahead and add it. Sweet. So if I were to now scroll over, you'll notice that all of our joints now have this motion system tag. This is exactly what we need. Another great thing is, with them all selected, we can now go ahead and click on Add right here in the Attributes Manager. And you'll notice that it's going to add a relative layer. We can think of a relative layer like an additive layer, meaning we can add on top of the current key values we have. So this is how we're able to create our offset. So guess what? We're ready to now start aligning this rig. Let's make sure we're on frame 0 when we do that. This is where our neutral pose exists. So I'll go ahead and grab the main root, which is hips, right here at the top underneath our null. And with that selected, I'm going to go ahead and turn on snapping just to save us some time here. Let me go ahead and tear this menu off. So we'll go ahead and choose Enable Snap. Let's work with 3D snapping. I don't really like to use auto snapping so that I get to decide where my objects get snapped to. Let's go ahead and uncheck Vertex Snap and enable Axis Snap. All right, fantastic. So now we can go ahead and close out of this menu. Let's grab our Move tool with the E key. And again, with the hip item selected, I'll also go ahead and switch this to world mode. It might be easier to manipulate this item that way. And we'll snap this over to our control rigs route. Sweet, so you can see how much time this is saving. We can go to the next joint and bring that over. When it comes to the spine, if you notice that you don't quite have as many spinal bones as you do on your control rig, no worries. We're just trying to do our best to match to joints we absolutely need to match. All right, so there's the chest already taken care of. This is looking great already. Let's say we go ahead and move on to the neck and head. So here is our neck bone on the control rig, and there's the head bone. Now on the source rig, the neck bone is actually second from the top. So this joint all the way at the top here would be our head bone. So I'm going to go ahead and take the neck. I'm going to go ahead and just snap this over to where our control rig's neck is. And then I'll go ahead and take the head bone and kind of do the same thing here. Just snap that over. All right, wonderful. So that brings us to the arms. We're making great progress already. Let's take care of the clavicles. We'll go ahead and snap the right clavicle. We'll go ahead and take care of the shoulder. Let's go ahead and grab the forearm, bring that over. And then finally the wrist, and then that will then bring us to the left side. All right, sweet. So in no time at all, we've finished up the right arm. Let's take care of the left arm. Wonderful. All right, great. So we'll go ahead and start snapping these over. All right, sweet. And then once we've managed to do that, we can go ahead and take care of the legs, which won't take much time. And then we'll want to make sure to create a keyframe to lock these in place. So let's go ahead and do that afterwards. We'll just continue snapping. Here's the knee. Let's go ahead and bring that over. Then we get to the ankle. So we'll just go ahead and snap. And then we'll snap our foot joint from the source rig to the foot joint, also known as the ball joint of our custom skeleton. All right, so just a few more items and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and take care of the right side. So snap, bring this over. Nice. And two more joints. Again, we're saving a lot of time here. Neato. All right, sweet. So now once we have all of these aligned, we'll basically want to go in and grab all of our joints here, and we'll want to create a keyframe. So since we adjusted the position of these joints, we could always uncheck the other items on our animation palette, and then we can go ahead and create our key. Let's go ahead and click on the record button on frame 0 to make sure that we lock those joints in place. Sweet. Another option you have is to use the auto keying feature. So if you wanted to, you can kind of save time when creating that key that you need for each of these joints by simply turning on auto key and then snapping them in place. All right, cool stuff. So now if we were to have a look at this, when we start to scrub, you'll notice that we keep our offset. How exciting is that? Cool. So once this step is done, we're basically ready to now connect our character to follow the source data. So let's go ahead and stop the lesson here, and in the next lesson, we'll learn how to connect our control rig.